Rumors are going to come out like it's none other, right? So right now you got these rumors about the 49ers and the quarterback situation, and why not tie it to the 49ers? So we're going to talk about that right here on the Wayne Breezy Show, plus the latest in 49ers news, and there will be some giveaways on today's episode. Don't forget to hashtag BB, and we'll see you right after this.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Yeah. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Wayne Breezy, and the one and only John Chapman is in the building.
I got the horns. That was awesome.
Horns today, man. You got the air horns today, the DJ horns. What's going on, John? How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good. I feel like we're in a healthy space relatively. I know outsiders are trying to scream in and try to mess with the flow of the 49ers offseason. But at the same time, right before the draft, free agency, I felt like went well. I'm liking where the Niners are currently. I really, really am.
Very, very well said. I mean, look, the Niners look like they're in the up and up. The 49ers are preparing for the draft. There's nothing else that's going to come, to me in place of what they're trying to do for the draft. And here's my hot take for the draft. With the third round pick, one of them selections, the 49ers will draft a running back. I'm telling you.
You've been on that since the Senior Bowl.
I don't know why, but it just makes sense. And, I was talking about this with, our Twitter family. And he was like, we don't need to. We like the four guys that we have. You know what? We like the four guys we had last year, too. And I just say this. The 49ers have zero problems in using a pick that wasn't theirs in the first place and drafting a kid and moving on from somebody else. What are your thoughts about that?
It's bonus. The way you look at it is the way that it starts. Like, it's very easy to see, like, other people's money, right? Like this, you got this for free. If this draft would have taken place 5 years ago, you don't get these picks. And so I understand that I and you and a lot of the fans, now once we get those picks, those are our picks, they're our value and all that. That's one way to look at it. The other one is, man, we don't like to spend draft capital on running backs. Nope. This is free draft capital. Why not? Why not take a dart throw? Why not take it? Now, if I'm going to push back, though, Wayne.
That's what I was waiting for. I'm like, is he really going to just, like, seriously? Where's the pushback, John?
If you do take a guy at 3, last year that was an expense of Trey Sermon, right? You had to cut Trey Sermon. If everybody makes it healthy through training camp, which is a big if.
In hindsight, because we didn't know that they were going to cut Trey Sermon, we couldn't figure out why we drafted a TDP. But keep going. I'm sorry.
So, like, who would be if we set the depth chart? Because right now the 49ers have a full running back room. If you do draft somebody in the 3rd, who would that push out, so to speak, or possibly push out?
It's not costing you much to keep Jordan Mason here, right? He was an undrafted guy. It's going to be that 3rd round pick. It's probably going to be TDP, or there's a possibility that we talked about this on the last episode, the trade for maybe like an Elijah Mitchell.
Yes. Now, if you do that, then I'm like, all right, cool. There's a lot of guys I like in that 3rd to 4th round range, like a lot. And so there's some perfect fits in that range. I'm not sure I want to endorse it, but I wouldn't be mad at it. TDP last year, I think I had a 5th round grade on. Trey Sermon, I think I had a 5th round grade on. And so the Niners, they have a very different evaluation tactic when it comes to the running back position. You can go back to Joe Williams. They've been some misses, but I don't think that should stop your behavior now. Everybody just says, oh, go get a beast undrafted free agent and it's solved. And I'm just like, that's not how it works. I wish it was. The whole, just draft a quarterback in the 7th round to be like Brock Purdy again. Again, not how it works. It's not how it works. But I wish it would work that way. It's not a bad thing, especially when you saw the impact that Christian McCaffrey had. You get a stud running back, offense goes smoothly.
I guess my question would be though, how fresh are you trying to keep Christian McCaffrey? I mean, you want him to be out there, you want him to be your quote unquote every down back. But here's the thing: you want him to be that, but you don't need him to be that. And what if they look to not replace Christian McCaffrey, which they will be doing in a couple of years or so, right? It's just kind of like how it works. But what if there's some running back that they see in this particular draft that could come in here and do some of the things Christian McCaffrey can do, that they can redshirt for a year or two? And you look at the running back room, you look at our depth, there's 4 guys, right? That's what we have. We do know we're going to bring in some other guys. Some guys are going to make the practice squad or whatnot. And so when you look at your running back depth, you start with CMC, you go to Elijah Mitchell, and then it's that who's going to be that third or fourth down guy. And I kind of have Jordan Mason ahead of TDP because of his value. Like, this kid plays special teams really well. And it's not a shot at TDP. We just didn't get to see TDP. He redshirted the majority of his fresh rookie season, I guess you could say. So what more will we get from him? But what if that's not the running back that Kyle Shanahan wants? What if he's expendable? What if the 3rd round pick, the reason why they keep doing this is because they can afford to expend. They could try it out. Didn't really work for us. We can let him go. And I know people are like, but it's a 3rd round pick. I mean, but like you said, it's house money. And these are comp picks. These are comp picks. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do at the running back spot, John.
The one name that I would want to throw out there that probably hasn't been mentioned a lot in that 3rd round territory, the late 3rd round, is Kenny McIntosh out of Georgia. And the reason why I say him, I think he's probably the best wide receiving threat from the running back position, not named Bijan. He's incredible. So, like, we've seen what McCaffrey has transformed this offense by what he does in the passing attack. If you're wanting, again, you look at these 5 guys you have on the roster outside of CMC, the biggest question mark is, man, who's the receiving guy? And so if they wanted to go that route, that's a name I haven't seen brought up too much. Kenny McIntosh out of Georgia kind of makes a little bit of sense there.
I like that you're putting out prospects, John, because, there are a few. And I liked what I saw from him at the Senior Bowl. I thought he was pretty stout, had a couple of off days, but had a couple of good days. Played well in the game, too. That's when it matters the most, not just the practices. But again, if I'm going for a sure pass catching type of a back, it's Tajay Spears.
Yeah.
And the dude had over 700, 800 yards receiving last year, and then like 1,500 rushing. And I know it was at Tulane, but I mean, the kid is explosive. And I'm not just sitting here trying to endorse him, but there's some other running backs. And the thing is this: what are the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, and Bobby Turner really looking for? Like, what are they looking for? We got bruising running backs. We have, I guess you can say, the intermediate change of pace type of running back. That's like the TDP guy who can also be a bruiser. Remember, what was TDP mostly known for in college?
Yeah, breaking tackles.
Did you know I was going to ask you that question? That's what I'm saying. And so you look at that and you're saying, is that what we need? Yeah, we do need it. But the thing is, when you trade it for Christian McCaffrey and you see what he brought to the dimension of the pass catching, the receiving part of the running back, that could be the direction that Kyle Shanahan wants to go in. And so when you look at these running backs, you're going to look at those that can be the dual threat. And if they did want to wait, they didn't want to draft in the 3rd round. They did want to wait. I do like the kid out of Northwestern, Evan Hull. I feel like he's another pass-catching running back with quicker feet. But there's the speedy guys from Texas A&M.
Archain.
Oh. So these are some prospects, guys, you might want to start just circling, because you just never know what the 49ers are going to do in the draft. And I know we came out the gate and we started swinging for home runs right at the beginning of the show. We didn't even say good morning to the Breezy's Bunch. Let's give the Breezy's Bunch a round of applause. Don't forget to put your hashtag BBs. We're going to be giving away a nice little 49er keychain lanyard. All right. To one of the Breezy's Bunch, whoever hashtag Breezy's Bunch, we will have that name by the end of the show. All right. So I'll have that name and that winner by the end of the show. And since we're talking about running backs, before we move on from the running back segment, I want to do a running back giveaway. And I have a running back. I have actually a football card of probably the greatest running back of 49ers history, and Frank Gore. Arguably, some people may say it was Roger Craig, but I think Frank Gore might take the cake. What are your thoughts on that real quick before we do the giveaway?
Yeah, I think you got to go Frank. But I have no qualms whatsoever if you want to go catfish. I mean, Craig's amazing.
Amazing.
First 1,000, but the consistency, the story of Frank Gore, and if you love Frank Gore, I feel like the closest thing to him this year is somebody that Wayne already mentioned, and that's Tajay Spears. A very similar story. Had some knee issues in high school and then one early in college, and man, has just been a rock. And so, like, I'm telling you that's a Frank Gore type guy, and just kind of does everything. The term is jack of all trades. I'm going to
Trades
say king
master.
of all trades.
I like that.
King of all trades, ace of none. But I'd go Frank the Tank.
Yeah, and it was fun watching him. And I think the key to Frank Gore was consistency. The fact that he was also always available. I think that made
Always.
it, always. I mean, and when you talk about their stories, you said similar stories. They did have the knee injuries, the ACLs in college, but they still found ways to persevere. And I'm hoping for a young kid, wherever he chooses to go, whoever chooses to draft him, Tajay Spears, he's going to be a problem for the NFL. For years to come, he's gonna be a problem. If I had to comp him, it would be more of a Alvin Kamara type
Yeah.
of a running back. Really small kid, strong kid, guy that can carry a load. So might be a good pickup. We do have some contributions coming in, but let's do the giveaway first.
Okay.
John has a trivia question, all right?
Ooh.
And so I don't know what the trivia question is, but only he knows the answer. And the first person that types it in the chat will win the Frank Gore card. All right, the Frank Gore giveaway. All right. So since we're cleaning up the running backs, John, you have the floor.
All right, here we go. This question, let's stick with the running back position. I wouldn't plan on this, but let's switch it up. Who led the 49ers in rushing yards in their 1994 championship season? Who led the 49ers in rushing yards in their 1994 championship season? We'll wait for those questions to come in. We'll let Wayne announce it. Now, the one thing I want to throw out there about Frank Gore, one of the most amazing stats ever, he finished his career with 16,000 yards even. I don't know how the hell he did that. I think it is very, very impressive. Very impressive.
All right, so we got some answers rolling in here, John, and I see Coach Cruz as usual. Yeah,
as usual.
Almost
He wins
like
everything.
unfair. It's almost unfair. And even the name, the spelling is right. Like, you know what I mean? But when you're talking,
He don't miss.
When you're talking giveaways, if there was a 49er trivia type of an event, like, this is who you want on your team.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Ricky running water.
Coach Cruz. Congratulations, baby. I have your address on my Rolodex speed dial because you're always winning. So this will be on the way. Coach Cruz, let me just mark this down here.
You're not in the other competitions, Coach. So, like, you're excluded, buddy.
Let's do a quick flashback on Ricky Waters, man. What were your thoughts? I think my flashback game was that game. He had like 55 rushing touchdowns against the Giants. They just couldn't stop him. And it wasn't big runs. They were just like a lot of goal line runs, and he was just unstoppable. But what was one of your cool Ricky Water moments?
Man, for me, a lot of it was just the attitude. And, we're going through the 1994 season.
Notre Dame.
And he started sporting the do-rag after Dion showed up.
Wait, was it a do-rag or was it a bandana?
Yeah, it was the bandana where it was always the way they tied it, it tucked out the back.
Yeah, it wasn't a do-rag though. It was
okay. But like, my thing with him is he was just so graceful, and his body would be like, sideways, and his knees, the change of direction, the knees, we talked about Roger Craig earlier. He was just awesome, man. And it broke my heart when he went to Philly. And he went to Philly and had his best years. Like, a lot of Niners fans don't remember this. His years at Philly, 1,200 yards, 1,400 yards, 1,100 yards, back to back to back to back. But he was awesome, man. And he still is awesome. Huge part of the community. Shows up to a lot of events. He's just, he's a Niner. He's a Niner.
Yeah, I definitely like this. Ricky Waters, great guy. was cool. I got my man Marty Mars says, we need to bring the Kahoot back. All right, so I tell you what, on Fridays, on John's regular days, we'll start the Kahoot for the off season, and we'll see
Ooh,
how it works. It used to be on Wednesdays, but we'll do it again. We'll do it on Fridays when John is here. It'll be
I
so
love
much
trivia.
fun. We can put together a nice little trivia package, a little 5-question thing for Fridays, and we'll bring the Kahoot challenge back and do some giveaways. So you guys like that? Thumbs up if you guys are like that. All right. So John, moving on from the running backs, I just thought that was pretty cool. All right. So the BB and wheat sweepstakes has concluded. So make sure you got your hashtag BBs in there. The winner will be announced at the end of the show for the lanyard. All right, for the lanyard. John, let's talk about these two quarterbacks. I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers and I want to talk about Kirk Cousins. I want to get some pros and cons. You know, about them being San Francisco 49ers. Before you go, because I'm going to give you the floor, I'm going to shut up for the rest of the episode. I do want to read off these chats. All right. So Peachy started the day off. Good morning, everyone. Let's have a great show with the fellas Breezy and John. Smash that like button and subscribe. If you haven't also joined the Breezy's Bunch today, make sure you join the channel. Hashtag BB, hashtag take 6. Thank you, Peachy. I truly appreciate the super chat contribution. And Jax Knox is back in the building. Good morning, Wayne and John. She used our government names.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. The best two content creators, Jordan Mason time.
That means a
Let's
lot.
effing go. John is the biggest Jordan Mason fan next to Jax. Sorry, John. You used to be.
Hey. Good
But
company, man. Good
yeah.
company.
Jordan Mason it is. All right, let's switch. And thank you guys for the contributions. I truly appreciate it. You guys know what they do for the channel. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers versus Kirk Cousins. Let's have the pros and the cons. And I just want to kind of like sit and listen because I want an expert take from this. I don't want to get like favoritism. This is that and the third. You know, we heard Mike Florio talk about it. You heard the guy from that show that talked about Aaron Rodgers, and I don't want to really replay any of that. We know what's out there. It's out there, and until those guys find a team that's not their original, that's not their current team, it's gonna always be out there. But let's talk about the cons of Aaron Rodgers being a 49er.
Culture fit is very, very important. I know he's from the area. He has publicly, I mean, this is the most Aaron Rodgers thing ever. Like publicly slam everybody all the time. What's that movie that came out? Like Everywhere, Always, All at Once, or whatever. Like it won an Oscar. I haven't watched it yet either. But like that's Rodgers. He goes out and purposefully like talks to Jed York and talks trash to him, and how he made a mistake. He goes on the Pat McAfee show and talks about game plan and how teammates have to pull their weight and don't pull their weight, and slams coaches and slams players and slams draft. I don't know. So like if you're talking cons, there's a lot. That's one. The salary cap is another. That's huge. Now, if I'm giving a 100% neutral, nuanced approach to this, which is the way I think you have to approach it. Salary cap wise, you can make it work this year. Can't make it work any years after that. He's got options, but I mean, your dead cap money that you would be paying him, it gets really, really, really scary. You're talking 16 million next year. The following year, you're talking 8 million the year after. Like you're paying, 24 million, 16 million, 8 million. Like, so you could make it work for 1 year. You would lose so many guys long term. So salary cap and personality, those are the huge negatives. Cons or the pros, he's a damn good quarterback. If you're all in on Brock Purdy and you want to bring a guy in, cool. What are you going to pay to get him? You going to give up a second round pick next year, a first round pick next year? Hell no. So I'm as out on this as possible. If we could get him for no compensation and sign him to like a free agent deal, I'd still say no. The way you built this roster has worked. Rookie contracts allow you to keep all this amazing talent around there. I'm very out on this, Wayne. I'm very out on this.
I mean, I think a lot of people will be out on it. Let's say they could make it work financially. let's say they figure it out, because the one thing that the San Francisco 49ers do better than we do is they figure stuff out, right? They figure it out. They figure the numbers out. They figure the terms out on the contract. We were like, how did this happen? How did they do this? They figure it out. Let's say Kyle Shanahan is all in on winning the Super Bowl. And so some of my pros from Aaron Rodgers would be the fact that he's relatively healthy. He's experienced. He's a former MVP. Like all of these things that can help you win a championship. So what's the cost? I guess that would be the question of winning a championship. You know, we're going to ask that question a little bit later on. Like what's the cost of in being in win now mode? And so we're only great at those rookie contracts based on the quarterbacks that we have on the roster. But if you're in win now mode, what if those quarterbacks, you're not in on those quarterbacks? Like, what if you're not sold on Brock Purdy getting healthy and him coming back out doing another thing, but Aaron Rodgers is available? So with that, you're going to have to give up stuff to get him if you're going to be in win now mode. The question is, are you giving up more for a chance to win? And this is what betting is all about, right? Like, this is what it comes down to. I get the negatives and the cons. Do you want to deal with that? But how much of that stuff, John, I wish we could sit down with Aaron Rodgers. How much does Aaron Rodgers hate Green Bay? Not like, I think that factors into it a lot. Like, people don't talk about what it was like when Aaron Rodgers, everything was, you know, how it all started. He gets drafted. He wants to play. Obviously, that's not how that won it. So he had to wait. That was number one. Number two, he becomes the man in Green Bay, right? And then all of a sudden, he's still the man. He's getting a little older, but then they draft, quote unquote, his replacement once they get a new coach in there. And so it's like, oh, you're trying to replace me? That's what you do. You chose this month go over me. Like, that's kind of like what his thought process was. And so then
rightfully so, they did.
but then he went out and had an MVP season. Like, it was crazy. He became the MVP. And so what if Aaron is just like, we know he's being himself, but what if all of this is just kickback to an organization that he felt like gave him the middle finger?
I think I'm with you. And, you know, I was talking with, shout out to David, if he's watching this. We were talking about how crazy it was the 2019 NFC Championship game. Raheem Mostert goes for 220 yards, 4 touchdowns, decimates the Packers. The following year, the Packers draft a quarterback replacement, a running back, and a fullback, right? Like, they never addressed their positions. And so if I am Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, dude, we just got to the NFC Championship and got boat raced by a team that just threw the ball 5-6 times. Like, why would you not address those issues? This goes back to when drafting best player available goes wrong. Like, you have to draft for need early. The Niners do that. But as much as Aaron Rodgers hates Green Bay, I think he hates San Francisco more.
Hates San Francisco.
You remember when he was at that Pro-Am golf tournament like a month ago? And they're like, hey, Aaron, where are you going? And he goes, not San Francisco. Like, I don't know, man.
He does. You know why he hates us? Because we chose Alex Smith over him.
Yeah.
And Aaron, you got to remember, Aaron coming out of Cal, he wanted to play right away. And he would have been able to play right away in San Francisco. It was right here at home. Like, you know what I mean? And so we chose the guy with the better stats.
And it's caused problems. Now, the 49ers did go after him. You remember when we made the trade up? Before we made the trade up for Trey Lance.
They called Matt LaFleur.
Said, what would it take to get Aaron Rodgers?
You're right.
And he hung up on him. And then they didn't talk for like several months. And they were like besties.
You're absolutely right.
And so, like, I get that. Now, the parallels are huge. Did you know he had to wait 4 years to play quarterback. Trey Lance waited 2.
Yeah.
And they're making the transition to a quarterback that's waited 3. We're panicking over 2 years. I'm just saying, shoulder shrug. We might be all right.
I don't disagree with it, John. I agree with you 100%.
I do appreciate you pushing me because this is good.
I'm the pusher man. Not your love, not your daddy. All right. Don't nobody know about that type of music or whatever. But anyway, no, seriously, when you're talking about Miss Debbie, make sure you put that song on your list too, by the way. And so we're doing an R&B battle solo male artist on the Discord. And I just put the brackets together, but I won't release the brackets until they give me their damn list of 20 songs. So it's going to be really fun over there. But when I'm sitting here looking at the Aaron Rodgers stuff, it's like, why are the 49ers so tied to this? And it's because this is someone that they went after like before. Like Kyle even made the call before the trade up to get Trey Lance. What was it going to cost? And I'm sure Matt LaFleur was like, everything you got. And Kyle was like, F you, beep. And they ain't
Yeah.
talked for several months. Let's switch it to Kirk Cousins, because if there's not another quarterback Kyle Shanahan has this crush on, for quarterbacks, it's Kirk Cousins. And when you look at Kirk Cousins, we just talked about how Aaron Rodgers doesn't financially fit for the 49ers. But Kirk Cousins possibly can fit financially for the 49ers. So what you say there?
Yeah, this is all Mike Florio's doing. It's his, repeat the classics. Mariah Carey every Christmas. It's her time. Every offseason, Florio comes out with his, Kirk Cousins to the 49ers. The history between him and Shanahan's huge. Shanahan has been very, very honest. A big reason why we didn't even grade quarterbacks back in the 2017 or 2018 draft was because they were planning to get Cousins the year later. Then they trade for Jimmy G. And the very first thing that Kyle said was, this means we're not going to get Cousins. So it's interesting. I mean, it is interesting to say the least. I get it. And the thing I would add is Minnesota wants to move on. They want to move on.
But why? They have a franchise guy. Look at the stats that Justin Jefferson is putting up. I know Adam Thielen won't be there anymore. Thielen won't be there anymore. But hey, they'll probably draft another wide receiver. And they had the other kid that looked like he was showing some type of promise. Why would you move on? Is it because they can't win the big games?
They can't win any
But
big
is that
games.
is that
at
on
all.
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
My thing with Kirk Cousins is this. I got a couple axioms or whatever that I believe in. If you don't have a top 5 quarterback, you got to try to find one. Niners have been relentless in trying to do that, and I really appreciate that. I do not like franchises that are content with a 10 to 15 quarterback, which I think Kirk Cousins is. Maybe you put him a little bit higher, that's okay. When the big game shows up, this dude shrinks to the biggest standard. Like, he just wets down his leg every single time. Every single time.
Shrivels up.
And it just, some people don't have it. I mean, you wear socks and sandals, that's on you, bro. And that's just who Kirk Cousins is. I don't know. I just don't buy into him. Now, if you put him in a Shanahan offense with Debo and Ayuk and all those
Here's
things,
the pros and cons. I knew they were coming. I was waiting for him to turn around the corner. Here we go.
I just, man, I do not want Kirk Cousins at all. Is he
I
better
know.
than Jimmy Garoppolo? Yes. Is he better than Brock Purdy? I don't know. Definitely got a better arm. Definitely can make a lot more throws than Purdy. But man, that dude, I don't know. He's just annoying as hell too. Shanahan likes these guys, but like there was a point, and I forget the story and who broke it, but it was like after some big play
Wait a
was
minute.
made.
Make sure you name the person who broke the story, because we
Oh,
don't want any. We just want to make sure we're letting the content
I
people out.
turned Twitter off yesterday.
Okay. I felt
Like he turned to the head coach and said, "I just saved your damn job. You're welcome." Like he's just a tool. I don't know what else to say. You watch Mic'd Up, you watch his press conferences, you see who he is off the field. Like, just no. Like, if you like Brock Purdy, you're not gonna like Kirk Cousins. Like, you're not. You're just not gonna like him.
I don't know, man.
I think he's much closer to the Aaron Rodgers spectrum, personality-wise, than a lot of people want to say. Now, Kyle likes that.
That I agree with. Not as I would. Aaron Rodgers is on a different spectrum, but Kirk is going down that line. Like, he's getting close to that. But I mean, look, you got to look at like how he came into the league, Michigan State. He was drafted in the same draft with RG3. They chose RG3 over him. It was like one of them biggest FUs once RG3 got hurt. Kirk Cousins was the type of quarterback that took the opportunity and made the best of it, right? Like, once he got in, he never went back. Sort of kind of like what Brock Purdy is doing. Unfortunately, Brock Purdy got hurt. And so,
Yeah.
but Kyle loves this guy. There's
And
something
he doesn't get hurt. He does not get hurt.
See what I'm saying? There's
He does not.
something about Kirk Cousins that Kyle Shanahan likes, and I'm trying to figure out what it is, because what did we really see from him in Washington? I don't really remember. Deep throws down the
He was
field.
good. He was good. Yeah, he was good. He operates within the offense that you design. And he's missed one game in, I think, 8 years of starting.
I mean, he's
Also, my
gonna get a
favorite
chance
thing
too.
about Kirk Cousins is that he took less money for a fully guaranteed contract. And I was hoping the NFL would go that way because I think it should. But, he's the only guy that's like fully guaranteed or I ain't going. Like, he did it right. And so if you're looking at Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins took back-to-back franchise tags, middle fingered, went and got a full contract.
Yeah, I remember now. Thank you for bringing this back to my memory. I mean,
So I
fully
like that
guaranteed
about him.
contract. Yeah, but
And
but
it
but
sorry.
the thing with Kirk though, that the Vikings clearly are trying to move on, and so this is why we got to have this conversation, and this is why I want to get the pros and cons of it, because you're going to get good in having Aaron Rodgers here and Kirk Cousins, but how much is it going to sacrifice your team? That's the question. Like, how much are you willing to give up to get that and to deal with some of their baggage? These are veteran savvy quarterbacks. These are quarterbacks Kyle Shanahan will not be able to mold. These are quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan probably won't be able to control. Maybe a little bit more in Kirk, but Kirk is a veteran in the league. Aaron Rodgers is uncontrollable. He's going to be Aaron Rodgers every single day. He would be on this roster. I feel like Kirk Cousins is in that same kind of like respect mode. But I want to know what Kirk would be like just one season under Kyle Shanahan with what Kyle has now.
Right. And I think another reason why they want to move on, they have a $28.5 million void year cap hit next year. Even if you trade them, you're stuck with that. Like, I don't know, man. They built he's got great weapons. Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Thielen,
but
KJ Osborne's awesome. You got freaking the tight end. Like,
point.
you're seeing, like,
good point. But does he have great coaching?
I like O'Connell. I like O'Connell.
Nah,
You're not Shanahan.
No. And there's a relationship between those two. You know, when you just you get somebody, like you get them and y'all just in sync, like they have that synergy. I just feel like that's what they have. No, I'm not pushing for Kirk Cousins. That's not what I'm doing, because I know that's what people thinking I'm doing. I'm just trying to paint the picture that they're connected. No matter what we say, they're going to be connected. Until Kirk Cousins retires, he's going to be connected to Kyle Shanahan. He's played some of his best football under Kyle Shanahan, and they're always going to be connected. Why to the 49ers? Well, we're in win now mode, and that's what we're going to switch to. All right.
Well, and real quick before we leave here, the reason why this keeps coming up, this isn't even a new report. This is based off of a Mike Florio speculation report. Whenever he was asked, what team do you think would be interested in Shanahan back at the Cousins, he said, probably the 49ers. That's it. That was a statement that was made back in Combine, and Florio just keeps freaking rinse, repeat. Like, he hates the 49ers, has hated the 49ers, and just every quarterback that they have had, he has tried to undercut through his media mogul, and it's worked. Because it gets clicks, because y'all send me the damn articles, and every time I'm just like, that's not an article, man. That is a 100% hit job. This dude, just a joke, man. Just a joke. That's what most of this is.
Hey, and look, it's out there. We're going to talk about it. That doesn't mean we agree with it, but I just want to make sure we're bringing it to everybody's attention.
Yes.
Because
Wayne's so good at this.
In order for this to even happen, the Niners are going to have to give up compensation, whether it's players, whether it's picks, whether it's some type of money. It's going to be something to get. But to me, the real question here is, we'll get into the win now mode. John, get your trivia question ready. We're going to give away a Faithful to the Bay towel.
Ooh.
All right, a Faithful to the Bay towel, so y'all can wipe the sweat off y'all behinds. All right, please don't please don't do that with this towel. But do whatever you want. It's about to become yours. All right. So John's gonna get a question ready. If you already won, Coach Cruz,
you can't play.
Okay, John said it, not me. So yes.
I'm gonna call Anthony later, Coach Cruz, and we're gonna talk. But all right, here we go. Since it's Faithful to the Bay, I'm going with this one. Who is second, not first, who is second all time, just for the 49ers? They had to be during wearing red and gold to do this, passing yards. Second all time 49ers passing yards. second all time in 49ers passing yards. Who is it?
Second
Who is
all
it?
time in 49ers passing yards.
Faithful to the Bay. We'll
All right.
find out here. We're going
I'm
to
gonna
find
let
out.
you, if you see the winner, you're gonna put it out because I'm looking for something at this moment.
No problem. No problem. Again, just so everybody understands, when we do these giveaways on the live feed, they come across in different orders on your screen, on my screen, on Wayne's screen. So everybody sends screenshots whenever we do these, and I'm like, man, this is what came across first on mine.
So I'm letting John pick first.
Okay, there we go. I'm scrolling. I want to double check, make sure it's faithful to the Bay, and it ain't who you think it is.
Okay, who you got?
It is not who you think it is, and it goes to, oh, look at this, Uncle Scott. Scott Hill with the correct answer, the first one that I see. Good old number 12. That's right, John Brody. That is the correct answer. It goes
thing,
Joe
John.
Montana 1, Brody 2,
Brody
Steve
2,
Young
Steve
3.
Young 3. Here's the thing. Uncle Scott calls in on every call-in show, and y'all better start paying attention to this man because he tells you on every episode that he knows his stuff, and he's seen every quarterback from the 49ers. So congratulations, Uncle Scott, man. I love it, man.
Impressive.
Uncle
I will
Scott,
say this, though. If either of these young quarterbacks takes the job and runs with it,
they're beating this record.
Yeah, because they're both so young, man.
Yeah,
they're so young.
And
so with Joe Montana, he left the last part of his career, right? Brody left the last part of his career. Or was he gone first? Ooh,
Scott would know.
Here we go. This is interesting to me.
I'm just writing down the winners, guys.
Yeah, so Brody was with us the whole time. I apologize. I was way off on that one. I was going Y.A. Tittle. Brody was with us. He started at 22 and played till he was 38. That is a lot. 201 games. But they only played 12 games a season back in those times. So he was with us for a long freaking time. But I'm telling you, with the NFL today, that's going to change. That's going to change.
Yeah.
So
it is. It's just it's now it's back to being the passing league, and these quarterbacks are playing young again. And look at and it all depends on how our team is just built, right? Our team is built, and that's what we're going to talk about because nice segue into the last segment of today's show. The 49ers are in win now mode. And how long will that window remain open? And when you start to look at the San Francisco 49ers, you're saying, oh, man, they have all these, I don't want to say elderly players, but they have some guys that are getting up there in age, right? And then on top of that, they have some really high cap hits going into the next year and the year after that and the year after that. And so how long can the 49ers window remain open and win now mode? And should the 49ers trade for a win now quarterback? And that's the question I want to talk about because we were talking about these two guys. Now, Aaron Rodgers, like I said, from that story, it's more like if the Jets deal falls through, the 49ers will jump on. They'll get in the race. That's what that is. With the Kirk Cousins thing, it's just a take. I don't think it's anything real. There's no traction. But do you think the 49ers have a win now quarterback on their roster that can currently be ready to go? And so that's the question that I'm asking you, John.
I think that the answer to that question is probably not week one. If Trey takes this job and runs with it, you're hoping that he will be at, that perform when you get to the middle of the season. If he does not, then you're hoping Brock Purdy comes in and picks up right where he left off, which if Brock can do that, then the answer is yes, right? So that's why I think the Niners are just kind of like comfortable.
Okay.
Because you've seen what Brock can do. He's played 8 games. He's won 8 games. The injured, second drive of the game thing, whatever. That's a whole other first drive of the game. That adds in there. And I think the Niners only got better. I know that they lost McGlinchey. I know that they lost Jimmy G. I understand that they lost their defensive ends. I'm sorry. They got better. Why? Because they added more blue chip talent. That's what's key. They added, we talked about this yesterday on my show. They added a top 3 defensive tackle. Top 3. That's hard to do when you were the best defense in the NFL, one of the best defenses in the past decade, and you added a top tier player. Yeah. That's crazy to me. So to your question of these salaries, they staggered them well. I think the very first player to go from this elite status, these blue chip guys, it's going to be Trent Williams. He thought about retirement this year. You might only get one more year out of him. So if Trent Williams walks after 1 year, yeah, that hurts. And I think that adds to the need to draft a tackle early or a couple tackles to try to figure that out and get a replacement redshirt player. But after that, the players are staggered again. Fred Warner's going to be playing for a while. Debo's going to be playing for a while, right? Bosa's going to be playing forever. CMC, 1, 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
You know,
because of the position. Yeah.
Because of the position. But I don't feel like there's like a wall to this. I really don't.
So you're saying they're what's the word, interchangeable, like you can continue to replenish. All you got to do is make sure you fill it with the right piece, so the window will remain open.
The 49ers are winning right now because they have the best roster and some of the best coaching.
Correct.
If one of these quarterbacks steps up, that will cover a lot of the ugliness that would be lost by losing a Trent Williams, by losing a CMC.
Gotcha.
You look at the Chiefs right now. Man, they had to turn over almost all their roster, but it worked because why? Yeah, Patrick Mahomes and great coaching. So the way in which the 49ers window will stay open has to change. It can't be by having all these blue chip top tier players. It has to change to quarterback's going to have to take up some of that slack. And I do believe that this is a sustained success model because of the coaching if one of the quarterbacks can step up.
Do you have any doubt that the 3 quarterbacks on the roster, which I'm ecstatic, I'm satisfied with our quarterback room. I don't feel like we need to make a trade for a quarterback or anything like that. It is interesting to see Aaron Rodgers come here. I feel like we would be the best team in football, hands down, period. But I still think we're the best team in football, hands down, period. So it's not going to really change much for me. Do you feel like, is there any doubt about any of these guys? Because you get the wins from Brock Purdy, but now the question for me, the doubt for me is, can he do it coming back off of this type of an injury?
And if it was just him, if we did what other teams are doing, like look at the Raiders, for example, right? They signed Jimmy Garoppolo. They go out and sign Brian Hoyer as their number 2. Like look at the Vikings, right? They got Kirk Cousins. They go out and sign Nick Mullins as their number 2. If we were in those situations, I'm scared as hell.
Gotcha.
But you mean to tell me my insurance policy is 2 third overall round draft picks that are 22 and 25 years old? I'm all right with that. If it's just Brock Purdy, your question, if it's standalone, I'm concerned. But man, you mean to tell me my insurance policy is these 2 cats?
Yeah, but the pushback to that is you still don't know what Trey Lance is going to be able to do, right?
You got to find out. You got to find out.
And I agree with that, but you still don't know until, I guess, you find out, right? You don't know how he's going to respond coming back off of his ankle injury. And then you got Sam Darnold, who didn't really have too many injuries, but he did get injured throughout his NFL career. But the thing is this, you don't know what he's going to be like. And so it's still 2 unknown factors. So there's got to be a little doubt. I mean, I get it. We have faith in them. We believe that they're going to do well, but there's got to be some doubt to just say, what have they done in the league?
Right. But faith. If that's the case, it's like the Packers, right? Like, dude, you traded up for Jordan Love. Niners, you traded up for Trey Lance.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to find the hell out. And the Packers are saying, look, Aaron Rodgers, this guy that you're talking about, we don't want him. We want him gone. We want him out of the building because we want to see what we have with our guy that we believed in several years ago. The Niners have to be in that same situation. Like, you have to.
I agree.
You got to see it. Got to see it.
I agree. So, no, the answer is no. We don't need to trade for a win now quarterback because we possibly have that right here on this roster.
And I would add this. If you do trade for a win now quarterback like Cousins, like Aaron Rodgers, now you are shortening
your roster,
that window long term, because the reason why the sustained success is an option is because you're on these rookie deals right now. If you go get those guys
position,
at that position, you're shortening that wall. Look at the Rams, right? Everybody's like, well, the Rams pushed all in and they got it. Barely. have bailed out on a crazy ref call. They had fourth downs, like stops at the end, like against the Bucks, against the Niners, like barely. They got it. And everybody wants to operate like, oh, you got to do it like the Rams did. Like, imagine if the Rams had one play go against them in those final 3 games, and then they'd still be in this situation. Like, their championship window is over.
Yeah.
It's done. DUN. It's not going any further.
I agree with that.
And that's because they pushed it in.
They pushed it in. They went all in. But they won a Super Bowl. So at the end of the day, when you have the Rams fans come into the chat, they're more relevant as champions. You know what I mean? So they can hang their hat on that. It doesn't matter how you win it. They won it. So at the end of the day, I think a lot of the faithful just want to win.
Yeah.
And whatever it takes to get the win. Yeah. And we just got to continue to have faith and be patient. What I like to tell the faithful, John, is that we're really trying to build a dynasty. And so in building the dynasty, you know, it's all about making sure you got the right parts, the right pieces, the right mortar, the right sanding, the right this, the right that. And sometimes you're going to get some bad products and you got to weave that stuff out, right? And so that's what the 49ers have been doing. And this is why in the last episode we did together, I believe, we were like, listen, give Kyle Shanahan a 20-year extension.
Yeah.
You keep John Lynch for all I care too. Like, let's leave it the way it is. Just allow them to keep churning the wheel at this, because I feel like they have a system and I feel like they're mastering the system that they have. And that is what's keeping the 49ers windows open a lot different than what the NFL wants the window to be. That's a whole nother topic, whole nother show, because that's when I feel like the NFL gets involved and you get these crazy calls and crazy play. And you be like, what the hell? And so that's a whole different conversation. But I agree with you, John. I think the window is open now. I think we have that quarterback somewhat on this roster. And here's my challenge, John. I need the team to be all in. I need the players to be all in. You know the situation. Make sure you help whoever it is going to be playing quarterback be the best that they can be. Like, make sure you're catching their passes. Make sure you're getting the right blocks. Make sure you're running the right routes. Make sure you're holding on to the ball and not creating turnovers. Make sure they're doing their job so that the quarterback, no matter who it is, Brock, Trey, Sam, Bam, Jam, Sam, Damn, I don't care. As long as if everybody's doing their job, this team will be something to reckon with. I promise you that.
I love that. I love that. Wayne gets me pumped up, man.
I don't know why I get so goddamn animated all the daggone time. Like, what is wrong? We're not even playing football right now. But imagine if we were on the team playing football, bro. You would be ready to go every single time. Listen, John, great show. I want you to come up with one more trivia question, and we're going to give away a Quest for 6 patch since we're talking about getting that 6 championship, John.
That's clean. That's clean. That is clean. Ooh. All right, here we go. This is a fun one. Since it's quite man, we didn't talk about these, but I'm trying to line it up with the conversation.
It's on the fly.
So here we go. Here's the questions based off this most recent season. Who led the 49ers this year? What's up, Sid? Who led the 49ers this year in yards per rush attempt? Who led the 49ers this year in yards per rush attempt? Oh, I'm excited to see what they're going to put out there. Whew. Man, this was a good show. I'm gonna be honest with you, Wade.
I was nervous because I'm like, ain't shit to talk about, right? I hate speculation, right? But it's there. But the way we were able to flip it, you know, the way we were able to have that conversation was pretty daggone cool. You know, it's not like we're picking a side or anything. What? That's the answer? Oh, snap!
Yeah. We might be here for a minute. We might be here a minute.
Well, you guys keep putting the answer, and when we see the right answer, we'll go ahead and give you.
I have not seen the correct answer yet.
A couple of questions. Tom, is it Tom Loser? Loser?
Tom L, man. He's the man, dude. This dude's
you're
the man.
Smart. See how smarter John is than I am?
Yeah.
Instead of me boxing up the name, he goes Tom L. And Jedi is the winner, John. That's what I see.
That's what I see as well. Yeah, they come across in different orders, guys. So just understand that. So, like, Tom, I saw a couple people come in with the same answer, the correct answer, but they come across in different orders on our screen. So
we got Jedi, who is going to be the winner.
Stamp.
Really?
NorCal 2099 or just on my screen. But again, this is the problem with
Because
using YouTube is it's a
okay.
different order.
On
It
my
comes across
screen.
different.
All right, I got Jedi. So Jedi is going to be the winner. Jedi, make sure you get me your mailing information one way or another, and I'll get that shipped out to you early next week. All right, so you guys will get your stuff shipped out early next week. It's Easter weekend, guys. So, going to be taking a break from some things. I do have one more giveaway, but I will do that live. Before we do that, I did want to get back to that question. We do have a contribution, so let's go ahead and read. Coach Cruz. John, you can go ahead and read this one.
What's up, Coach? He says, fans are quick to forget that we were not a good football team just a short time ago. I will take the consistency of winning over a one and done. This is from a coach. People don't understand. People don't remember, right? We've been through some dark times. We've been through press conferences where we are introducing our coach and he farts so loudly the mic picks it up. Jim Tom Sula. We have been through half times where the coach pulls his pants down around his ankles. Mike Singletary. We have been through Chip Kelly, where he wouldn't even have a press conference or allow the media to even watch a training camp warm-up. I hated Chip Kelly so much. And the worst coach of all time in 49ers history, in my opinion, who took a dynasty and ran it straight into the ground, Dennis Erickson. All of these are time periods within, recent history. Embrace what we have now. Like faithful then, faithful now. Faithful to the Bay. We keep saying these things. This is a good time to be a 49ers fan. And thank you, Coach Cruz. Perspective. That's what I'm talking about.
Very much so. John, we got one question we want to get to from Tom L. Do you believe we will continuously stay in the picture due to the way the 49ers has built the team and keep building by the draft? So when players leave, I guess other players fill the hole. I'm going to any players fill the hole. I think that's what it is.
I think, man, you see the blueprint and it's worked. Do you remember how great Laken Tomlinson was?
I do.
Do you remember how great he was?
I do.
Didn't take a step after it. Like, we didn't take one step back. You drafted Banks. Everybody called him a bust. He plugs in. Freaking awesome, right? You look at Jimmy Ward. You look at Jaquaski Tart. You look at these guys that were mainstays. And what happens? Now you got Talanoa Hufanga, who is all-pro first year starting.
Yeah.
So far, it's worked. Can they continue? They've been able to make it work with no draft capital. That's what's crazy.
That's crazy.
And that period's about to end. As long as they don't go ham and trade away all their future draft capital for a quarterback or for whatever, don't do it. just stick to course. I want a first-round pick. I need a first-round pick in my life. We all do. But yeah, I do think it's sustainable. As long as Shanahan's around, and the fact that he just keeps swinging at the quarterback position, that's what I want. I don't care if you strike out. I do not want an average quarterback on this team. Keep freaking swinging. If Trey ain't it, if Brock ain't it, swing. I'm into that.
And here's the thing. I think all the quarterbacks that we have on the roster are above average slightly. I mean, I know they don't have the wins and the stats to sit there and prove it, but I think when you look at the ceilings of these quarterbacks, they're going to be able to do some things, especially if they remain on this team some way, somehow for a long time to come. Doesn't matter if it's Trey, Sam Darnold, I think will play well if in this system. And we already know what Brock Purdy could do in this system. So I'm going to go out there and say that slightly above the average, you know what I'm saying? I feel like all three of these quarterbacks will be for the San Francisco 49ers. And any players that are part of the 49ers organization, do you realize that they always play above average? Ask me how I know, John. Ask me how I know.
How do you know, Wayne? This is crazy.
Because when they become free agents, they get paid.
Everywhere.
And then when they go to the other teams, they go back to being average. Isn't that something? I only brought that up because you mentioned Laken Tomlinson, and he played 10 times better with the Niners than he did with the Jets. So I'm just saying, the 49ers, the culture, the system, it makes you play above who you are. It's the perfect place, the perfect fit. Now, because of the way the team is, they can't pay everybody. So somebody got to take a cut somewhere. And rightfully so, I want our players to ball out so they can go get their bags. You know?
Love it.
go
I
get your
love it.
bags. But thank you for the question, Tom L. I appreciate that. John, this has been fun. I got to do one more giveaway. If you want to stick around, you can. If you got to dip out, I understand. But I'm going to do spin the wheel.
Yeah, sadly, I got the child's dentist fatherly duties. I got to go run. So that's my life. That's my
Understood.
life, and I'm happy about it.
Understood. John, thank you for being here, man. Listen, have an amazing trip, an amazing weekend. I love you. Say hello to the family for me, and I'll talk to you when you get back.
You're the best there is. Hashtag BB, baby.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Peace.
All right, guys. That's the great John Chapman, man. It's always a pleasure having him here on the show. Guys, I'm trying to be quicker with these overlays and things like that. Shout out to my man Steve on the overlays. Truly appreciate it. Let's do, all right, add to the stream. And we're going to do the Wheel of Names. This is how we do our BB giveaways. All right, we do Wheel of Names. Just trying to make sure you guys can see it or whatnot. And I'm just going to spin the wheel. All right, and here we go. This is for the 49ers lanyard that we're going to be giving away. And the winner is Eddie G in the place to be. Eddie G and the Bulldogs. What's going on, man? Congratulations, Eddie. You are the winner of the 49ers lanyard. Eddie, just send me a text message or whatnot, and I'll go ahead and get that shipped out to you. I'll ship out all the things on Monday, I promise. Guys, it's been a fun show. I appreciate everybody for joining. The chat is always popping. Round of applause to everybody out there in the chat. If you're a member of the Breezy's Bunch, I truly appreciate your love, your support, your hard work, all the things that you do behind the scenes. I appreciate it. And listen, man, I'm challenging you to get some other members to become members of the Breezy's Bunch. It's a really good time. And we do really good things with the Breezy's Bunch. So we're gonna be certainly putting together a new song for the Breezy's Bunch. I might do a new song, an intro for the show. We'll see. Got to talk to my singer, producer, songwriter, how we want to go about it. But I had a blast. We'll be back Friday for an hour only show. I'll probably do a little call-in. It's Good Friday. So we'll be back on Friday with Jason. He'll be here with me, and we'll be talking about some things and breaking some things down with the 49ers. All right. Stay up, guys. Stay faithful. I hope I read all the contributions this time. It's been real. Enjoy y'all Wednesday. More shows today. Don't forget, there's the Larry Kruger show. I'll be on there 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then there's the R&B show with Raj and myself. We'll be going live tonight as well around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure your alerts are set to all and on. You don't want to miss. Make sure you subscribe to those channels as well. It's been a real one, y'all. Y'all stay up. Peace.